Okay, welcome back guys for our WSET Level 2 beer tasting today of hop-driven ales, hop-driven styles. And I know you guys just learned about hops, so let me ask you a few questions. What are the three main attributes that hops will bring into beer?
Bitterness.
Bitterness, yes.
Antibacterial.
Antibacterial.
Aroma.
Aromas. Yep. We're tasting American style today, American IPA and American Hazy IPA. So what are some of the American hop characters that we might encounter? Such as fruit, like grapefruit or lime, orange. What else? Another kind of category American hops are famous for. Resin and pine. Yep, very good. And then we might encounter in these styles of beer, you might encounter New Zealand or Australian hops. So can you tell me one or two styles of hops and what their character might be? New Zealand or Australia?
Like stone fruit.
Yep. And the name of a hop maybe from famous hop from New Zealand or Australia?
Southern.
That's the solvent. And then what, that one's supposed to be like a grape, yeah, very good. We're not going to encounter British or German or Czech hops in these specific styles of beer, but can you tell me one or two British hops?
East Kent Golding.
East Kent Golding, yep. And then what are those British hops usually characters like? Subtle, herb, earthy, exactly. And then lastly, just to review a little bit more on hops, and we'll move into our tasting, German and Czech, the classics. Can you tell me?
Floral, spicy.
Yeah, floral, spicy. Yep, very good. Classic German hops. Okay, great. Today we're doing American IPAs. So we're going to focus more on American hops. Here's our first beer, is Fresh Squeezed IPA. It's an American IPA. It's 6.4%. And I'm going to ask you guys to go ahead and just pour a certain amount to get a good tasting. Pour some foam there, a little bit splash to get the foam. And this one, there may be some specific label notes that you might find on an IPA, a classic IPA, such as the low alcohol version. What would that be called?
Session IPA.
Session. And the high alcohol version, what would that be called?
Double IPA.
Double or Imperial is also, yeah, very good. There's other styles out there like black IPA, there's milkshake IPA, but we'll get into those later. So yeah, very good. The color, appearance first, we'll go into clarity. For our tasting, slightly hazy. Yep. The dry hopping factor, which we'll also talk about, but that could be part of that little bit of haze. Color, I'm going to say it's a bit darker than gold and go to amber. Yeah, you guys think amber? Okay. Foam, medium foam. Yeah, and you can give it a rouse, a little swirl. It comes right back, and it's a very nice layer of foam. So medium. Head retention, other observations on the appearance. The head retention is good. That foam is still there. Also, the lacing and yep. And then also the color is, it's amber as we mentioned, but there's no nothing off, no sediment, no particles in the appearance. Beautiful. We'll move into the nose.
Pronounced.
Yep, jumps right out at you. Pronounced. And the characteristics of the nose, the aroma characteristics. Anything from the malt or grain that you guys noticed underneath? A little bit of caramel, a little bit of maybe the highly kiln malt that brought that color. And then of course the hops are dominating. Mostly grapefruit. I do get a little bit of that, you mentioned the resin and pine is in there too. Classic American hop notes. No off flavors or off aromas at all. Okay, let's take a sip and check on the carbonation. Medium carbonation. Yep. Body also I think is about medium. Yep, body is medium as well. Alcohol.
It's high.
It's high. There is a heat from the alcohol, and it's 6.4%, so it is a high alcohol beer. Bitterness, also high. Yep, it's a characteristic of IPA. Sweetness, low. Little bit of residual sweetness that does balance out some of that bitterness. Aroma intensity, also pronounced. Yeah, it's intense. Aroma characteristics, malt, grain, hops, yeast, and other things that present on your palate. So very similar to the aroma notes in the nose. Grapefruit. Pomelo peel, pithy kind of peel. Also a little bit of that caramel malt, kind of. The finish, quite long. Yes, it's consistently going, long finish. Any other observations on the palate? For acidity, no. Texture, no. I think that warming sensation, that is a little bit of warming sensation. There's a 6.4 alcohol, and you notice it. Lingering bitterness. It's still going. It's a very characteristic of a lot of hops in an IPA. It's still going. Okay, and we'll just evaluate this for the qualities. It is absence of faults. Nothing wrong, no mistakes or off flavors. Balance, I do find it balanced, even though it is a very bitter beer. It has a bitterness lingering, but it's the style of beer. So that kind of residual malt sweetness does balance it out. It's complex. It's defined. I don't know if it's extremely expressive for me. The flavors are all there, but a bit muted. I've had IPAs that definitely are more expressive, and I feel like this one might just be a bit dated. It's not oxidized or anything wrong, but it is a bit muted. Everything about it is okay, but I don't think it's outstanding due to that, maybe a little bit of aging. It's just not the freshest IPA.
Still very good, though.
Still very good. Yeah, absolutely, it's very good. So we'll say it's very good. It is balanced, it is complex and defined, it has no faults, but it just isn't outstanding due to maybe a bit of age. Okay, very good. So that is our first beer, Fresh Squeezed IPA. We have a second beer, is also an American style. Technically, it originated in America, the style of hazy IPA. And there's another name for it in the U.S., the region where it's from.
New England.
New England, yes. Also can be known as a juicy IPA. And there is a labeling distinction on this one, DDH. You guys know what DDH might stand for?
Double dry hopping.
Double dry hopping. The process of adding hops at which stage in the brewing?
During the fermentation or after the fermentation finish?
Yep, during or after fermentation, rather than what are the other stages of the brewing where you would normally add your hops?
Boiling.
Boiling, yep. So if you add them at the beginning of the boil, what does that do?
More bitterness.
More bitterness. If you add them at the end of the boil,
More aromas.
more aromas, less bitterness.
So
Exactly.
you say double dry means it's
Double dry hops. So two separate times they put dry hops into the beer, and after the boil is already completed. Correct. Yeah. Double dry hops. Yeah. So clarity. Cloudy.
hazy. Yeah.
Hazy, cloudy. Very hazy, cloudy. Color. Golden. Yeah. Yeah. A little darker than straw, so it's definitely gold. Foam, I would say it's still going to be medium. Give it a swirl.
Medium.
Rouse it up. Yeah, medium. A very nice, consistent, fine white foam. Other observations on the foam and the appearance. Nothing, no particles, no sediment, even though it's very hazy. It's still clean. The foam, yeah, headstand and like lace is good. Yep. Aroma intensity.
Pronounced?
Pronounced. Yes, definitely pronounced. And the characteristics on the aroma. Hops are dominating, of course. It is the style, and it is a double dry hopped hazy, so it's got a lot of aroma hops in there. Do you guys detect any other aromas?
Sweet,
Bergamot.
Bergamot from the hops, yeah. When you said a little bit of bread,
Yeah.
so like maybe a water cracker, kind of a light toasted malt or something. Yep. And then the other grains that are going to go in this grain bill that make it hazy. How do they? Yeah. What are those?
Oats.
Oats, or wheat. So maybe you can detect a little oatiness in the aroma too. Yep. So yes, exactly. The carbonation, we'll go on to a sip. Medium. Yep. And the body also medium. Okay. Alcohol is also high. It's not as high as the first beer, but it's high. It's 6%. Yep. And the sweetness is low.
Bitterness is not as
Oh.
high as below.
Oh, sorry, I
the
skipped
one,
bitterness.
right?
Yeah. Alcohol is
Medium to
high. Bitterness for me is not as high as the classic American IPA. The style hazy IPA in general is less bitter, more or aromatic. So yes, the bitterness would be high on this beer, but not as high as the fresh squeezed. Correct. Sweetness low. Aroma intensity is pronounced. Yes, it presents very intense. And the aroma characteristics: malt, grain, hops, yeast. I think the same things that present in the aroma on the nose, you're getting coming through on the palate. So some of those hops.
Maybe the mouth feel is a bit rounder.
Smoother. You get some of that same kind of grapefruit, lime, tropical citrus, and a little touch of the bready quality. Yep. The finish on this one is still long. It's maybe not quite the lingering long finish of the IPA, the American IPA, but it is a long finish. And any of the other observations. So I don't detect any acidity, nothing in the texture or astringency, warming sensation. I don't find it to stand out. You know, it's balanced. Yeah, it doesn't like the other IPA definitely had a warming sensation, and this one it balances right in. And the lingering bitterness is there, I think, but not that long lingering bitterness. So it's good to the style. It's normal. Okay, and we'll do the quality assessment on this beer as well. Okay. Absence of faults, yes. There's nothing wrong with this as far as brewing mistakes or errors or off flavors. Balanced, I find it quite balanced. Complex,
Yes.
yeah. There's a mixture of hop and a bit of malt aromas and on the palate as well. Definition is good as well. I think it's a great example of a hazy IPA. In fact, it would be the example I use to someone who's never had a hazy IPA. Try this one. So in that way, I also find it expressive. So for me, this one would be an outstanding beer. I think there's nothing wrong with it in any way, and it checks every box as far as balance, complexity, definition, and expressiveness. So, yes, thank you guys. That was an excellent beer. Any other questions about the hazy IPA or the American IPA? I can ask you guys again. We mentioned the hazy. What makes it hazy?
Protein? No.
Proteins. Yeah. Yeah, the oats, and use oats and wheat, and then there's one other process, unfiltered, one other process in the brewing that would keep it from being too clear. Yeah, very good. So yeah, those are our two American IPA and American style hazy IPA. Thank you guys very much, and see you again soon.